So what I think about Eddie Murphy defending his role in Norbit, the one of the movies, came out. I remember when it came out, and he played multiple roles, played the male part, female role, different parts, and it cost him the Oscar for Dreamgirls. What did I think and how Norbit was corny. Um, I listen as someone who's a huge Eddie Murphy fan, loved his '80s era, and as a matter of fact, uh, um, I still be watching. What was it came on Boomerang the other night? Still like watching that. Bowfinger is probably my last favorite Eddie Moore, he did that with Steve Martin. But the problem with a lot of his movies after he did the Clumps and he did Doctor Dolittle and all that and Shrek and everything is that he got samey timey and he put out too much trash. A lot of his movies the last 20 years is the reason why you got Kevin Hart. Listen, Kevin Hart is productive, and I respect anybody's hustle in a very competitive, tough industry because it's a tough business. And if you can get you a name, especially when you black and you making and doing something, you're doing something right. But he's the reason why you got people think Kevin Hart is something legit because that kind of garbage, that kind of third rate, third tier, fourth tier mess that you could do in your sleep. I don't think Eddie thought he was gonna get any love for Dreamgirls, and I don't think that's what cost him the Oscar. I mean, really, that's shouldn't have even been at work because if he thought he did a good enough job in Dreamgirls, you should have gave it to him. I thought he was trying to channel Jackie Wilson in Dreamgirls, but I think that it was missing one thing that would have put it cemented it, you know. But people do kind of get sentimental. And Oscar Eddie's never won no Oscar, but it ain't hurting his career. Now his movies have been trash. I'm not gonna even lie. I think the Dolomite one was cool. It worked okay, even though him and Ray Moore were two different types of comedians, but it worked okay. But like Beverly Hills Cop 18 was garbage. Coming to America Part 10 was trash. That's you should have left well enough alone. He didn't recycle too many of the same things, and he just, there's a reason why his films hit the dumpster pile. Now, having said all that, ain't no jive turkey trash like David Spade can say anything about Eddie Murphy's career because at least Eddie had a career that counted. I remember when David Spade made them remarks back in the 90s, I was like, Eddie actually had a career that counted when you never had one. But Norbit was garbage film. I mean, to me, it just was just he could do that in his sleep. And I know he was trying to get some of that Medea money. I got it. Martin Lawrence was doing it. And so when cats um try to when you do multiple roles, that's a special gift. Eddie's got a special talent. Make no mistakes about it. He definitely is a very charismatic, and that's what has sold a lot of his films, if you must know. People ever ask, said, well, how much of a great actor was he, or how was he charismatic? I think the charisma got him over and personality got him over a lot of his films. It's so much that he changed so much. It's just that he had the smart aleck brother that seemed to work his way, and it worked like a charm. The problem was is that when back in the day we wanted more films. Back then, the Golden Child was like the first time it came out. I was like, uh-oh. But then he got on board and he flipped that. He made better movies. But he didn't put out a lot of stuff. And that's why I'm not knowing how the George Clinton picture is going to be and some of the other stuff. And the whole thing with him playing the Pink Panther, I ain't got no problem with it. Some people are hung up about it because he a black man playing the Clouseau role. That's not the problem. The problem is the quality of the work he puts out. Because some of that stuff he put out, like I saw that whackness that he did with Pete Davidson, and that stuff was, oof. And and that's the thing. There's a lot of times I feel like he phones and says, "Yeah, I'll do that film. Yeah, I'll do this film. Yeah, I'll do that film." And yeah, it's funny because when I watch his old films, the classics, I watch Trading Places, Beverly Hills Cop 1, even parts of Part 2 were cool and Coming to America in 48 Hours. It's a big difference in contrast when he was a hungry version of himself than when he just kind of phoned it in and did a lot of, you know. And that's the problem that I seen with a lot of his films. And Norbert wasn't memorable. But I don't think it should have cost him no Oscar either. I don't think it should have if they thought it was worthy. And again, it depends what. But let's say it is. He don't need no Oscar because the cat's done thrived. There have been people who won Oscars and they ain't been heard from. Can you remember when you last time you go to a grocery store and you see the milk cart, you see Cuba Gooding Jr. and Halle Berry side by side. Does an Oscar mean anything? It might work if you're Adrian Brody. You know, you can go decades and get one. But it don't really mean nothing. It ain't hurt Tom Cruise's career, and it ain't hurt Eddie Murphy's career. So if you're still working and doing your thing, and it hurt Samuel Jackson. So when you see people that are working regular and they're doing well, or they're still making films that people still paying a budget for, who's complaining? But Norbit wasn't a good film, but it shouldn't have cost him an Oscar if he cared about it. But it wasn't a good film, though. No. And I have to disagree with him. I know he wants to defend it. He said, "What about Pluto Nash? What about them?" I wouldn't have told nobody about some of the movies you did because it just sounded like you took a check and people thought you could make some smart aleck moves because you Eddie Murphy and you were just up there grandstanding. And it's cool. You earned that right. You're one of the best to ever do what you did. You know. But they'll never. Now, if Eddie wanted to really make a compelling story, how about do the Flip Wilson story and Geraldine and really do it the right way? That would be the film project. There was two films I would say Eddie could have done. The Flip Wilson story and Dr. King, especially because he had that hamburger helper mustache and that head. But I don't. I think the Dr. King thing is too late. But the Flip Wilson story could have been interesting. But anyway, please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.